Dairy Comics here, and today's video will be the second voted on topic that was kind of in a tie with another one that was already made, talking about my Sans fangirl phase. And if you want to check that out, you can go ahead on my channel and watch that. It's pretty cringe, so yeah. But this video will be slightly cringe depending on what your definition of cringe is. To me, personally, it's not, but to most, it would be. So it's honestly up to your interpretation, to be honest. Before we do get into the topic for today's video, I do want to say a couple things. So first things first, I do have emergency commissions open. Last video, I believe I had mentioned I had commission sales going on, but this time my commission sale is actually extended. So if you did watch that video and I said that my sale will only be lasting till March 27th, that is a lie. My sale has been extended to September 12th. Why? Because I am going back to art school. Hopefully, maybe. Art school is extremely expensive. Following your dreams is expensive. Although it is quite doable if, I have the extra help from those around me. So I do have commissions open. They are on sale, 50% off. And if you're interested, there is a link down in the description. And also, if you're not interested in commissioning, but you do want to help, I do have a GoFundMe. So that will also be in the description below, a link to my GoFundMe, to help me basically just cover the cost of my groceries, my school supplies, my tuition, the debt, basically paying off the debt. It's just money to help out with anything involving school. And me just moving and living in another state will help so much. So I can not stress out, so I can have a wonderful year, because last year, as much as I did love it, I was very stressful about food and money since I only had a seasonal job. Once that seasonal job ended and I ran out of my money I had saved up, which wasn't very much, I was it was a lot. So I just want this new year to be stress-free for me and my family, and I want to follow my dreams, and I hope that you guys can help me do that. So yeah, like I said, commissions are on sale, and I have a GoFundMe, so go ahead and check the link below, both those links. And let's get into the nitty-gritty. First, before the nitty-gritty, we have to do what is going on in the background. So basically, currently, if you guys have seen my series where I talk about my OCs, my character Sugar, I am currently drawing. If you guys have seen, maybe my other couple videos, my past few videos, if you haven't, I'll explain, of course. I am working on a comic. So every year, I do a comic. At least, I started last year, so this will be my second year doing this. So every year, during my years attending at school, I will be doing a comic and making that comic into a physical comic. The comic will be a mini story, like a micro story, and each comic each year will have a different amount of pages. It's just to show my growth as an artist, to challenge myself, and so much more. The comic will also be available on Webtoon. But I do make these yearly comics physical to sell at different places. For example, the comic from my first year, My Sweet Monster, is currently selling. I don't know if it's sold out. They haven't contacted me. But currently, if you are in New York City, go stop by your local comic book shop called Forbidden Planet. And if you go to the indie section with all of the hometown artists, you'll be able to find my book there. So I am currently selling that one there. And then this one, I'm hoping to sell it maybe at convention, probably online, things like that. But yeah, so that's what this comic is, and the comic will feature the character I just spoke about recently on this channel, in the first episode, actually, of Let's Talk About OCs, Sugar. So the comic will be about Sugar. I won't say exactly what the comic will be. Maybe, like, if you watch the video, you'll kind of know her. She's inspired by Marilyn Monroe. The characters that she plays, at least. The character Sugar is basically a gold digger, X, Y, and Z, all of that good stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in reading this comic when it does come out, and if you want to keep up with updates, go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Tumblr. I do now have a Tumblr, so I post a lot of my art there. And such, but I post more updates on my Instagram, so if you're interested, definitely go ahead and follow for those updates and such on my socials, which also will be in the link below. But yeah, that's what I'm working on, which is the comic book cover for this. And now, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty! So, this video will be talking about my Disney phase as a child, well, as a middle school kid. And I say phase very lightly because it was not a phase, Mom. It was not. It is still affecting me till this day. And most of you might be audibly sighing and be like, look at this Disney adult, get a load of this guy. But no, I am not a Disney adult, as most may think. In my eyes, why do I not think I'm a Disney adult? Because a Disney adult is someone that dedicates their entire life to Disney, glazes that company a lot, glazes every single movie they've ever made, and glazes everything they do. And, like, is just a huge, like, I don't know, like, they just glaze everything. And Disney adults aren't that bad. I have met some, but I work with some as well, but, like, when people think of Disney adults, they think of people that are, like, going to Disney World all the time and dropping their entire life savings on Disney World. Their whole house is Disney merchandise. All they do is sing Disney music, and they are extremely happy, but also obnoxious, and are typically millennials, and everything that Disney does, they completely glaze. So, like, when I say I'm not a Disney adult, I am not the first thing that what people think of. When it comes to me and my love for Disney, it is completely kind of different, in some ways. So when I was a kid, I grew up with Disney movies like everyone else, but I grew up with a family that loves animation, a mom that loves animation, and cartoons. So I grew up watching a lot of Disney. And as much as most millennials like to think, I'm sorry to bring my Gen Z slang into this video, but as much as angry Facebook people like to think, as I am Gen Z, technically, I am 20 as recording this video, I grew up with a VHS tape player, and I grew up with it. I grew up with that stuff. So, and I had a very large, I had every Disney movie at the time of release, at least, obviously not current Disney movie, but, like, when I was about, it maybe, like, let's say 2009, I had every Disney movie on VHS tape and DVD, and I watched all of them. I had seen every single movie at that point, and I was in love. It was amazing. So I basically, like, grew up watching a lot of it. I grew up watching so many animated films, so many, like, of, you know, not even Disney films, not just them, like, you know, like, Anastasia is a Don Bluth film, and Don Bluth films are peak, so I just loved them. And as a kid, like, I went through multiple phases of going through so many different things. And, like, if you see my video of me talking about, like, oh, like, me growing up as a weird kid, and another video of me basically talking about, like, me growing up with, like, nerdy parents. Those are two videos on this channel where I have highlighted and, like, talked about my childhood and things I grew up around, which I was a very diverse child. I grew up around everything and anything and a lot of media, consuming so much media, to where that made me a little bit open-minded about the media that I consume. I have my preferences, 100%, I have my preferences, but, like, my preferences romance. I prefer romance. I prefer anything that's so girly, the most the most feminine thing just like ever, that just vomited all over. I will eat that up so much. But like other than that, like I'll still branch out. I'll go to so many different medias. So I grew up around a lot of things. So I went through a lot of different phases in my life where I had been the emo kid. I had been the goth kid. I had been the kid into J fashion. And then I got into being a basic white girl. I am black, by the way. So, and then I went through my clean girl aesthetic, my preppy girl aesthetic. And, you know, I went through my scene phase. And like I've been through a lot of phases when it comes to things that I like, things that I listen to. So I like a lot of things. I went through my anime phase, blah, 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 you know, just things like that. So my Disney phase was quite an interesting time, in my life. And, oh my God. So it started when I basically, like, I've always had a huge thing for Disney. So I'm trying to pinpoint where it started, and all I can say is probably like when I was in like probably about 10, I was super, not even 10, maybe about 8 or 9, I was super into Disney Channel. And like before that, I grew up obviously, like I said, watching a lot of Disney movies. So then I got into Disney Channel when we finally got cable. And I loved Disney Channel movies. I loved the soundtracks. I loved the films. I loved the actors. I loved all of it. It was amazing to me. And I loved the Disney Fairies movies. So I was super into the Disney Fairies franchise. The Tinkerbell movies, for those that don't know. So I got super into that. And then, like, my Disney phase kind of fizzled out a little bit. And then around my first year of middle school, I had always been into Kingdom Hearts. Now, this is a topic that regulars here know, because I have talked about wanting to, every time there's a vote on this channel, I always sneak a Kingdom Hearts video in there, but nobody ever votes for it. And it came to a point where one of my subscribers had been like, I'm gonna vote for Kingdom Hearts because you keep putting it in here. And I was like, thank you so much. But it still doesn't win. Which is totally fine. I will sneak Kingdom Hearts in here. As you can tell in the background of this video, there is Kingdom Hearts music going. And every single last one of my videos, if you have caught it, kudos to you. Although, so, Kingdom Hearts is very viable in this. Why? If those who do not know, Kingdom Hearts is a Disney game in collaboration with Square Enix. Square Enix collabed with Disney to create Kingdom Hearts. It's anime mixed with Disney, guys. It's Final Fantasy with Disney. Kind of, maybe. Do not say that to a Kingdom Hearts fan. They will lose their mind. But it is basically what it is. I loved Kingdom Hearts. I loved it my whole childhood. But I never knew the plot of the game. So, in middle school, first year of middle school, my library actually had the Kingdom Hearts manga. So I started reading it because this is around the time, maybe like before middle school, my first, I had gotten into reading manga actually, last year of elementary school. So I had read the Full Metal Alchemist manga, and then my first year of middle school, I started reading Kingdom Hearts manga. And I read the first Kingdom Hearts, and I read Kingdom Hearts 2, and then I read the manga for Rechained Memories. And I was obsessed. I was like, this story is immaculate. So, technically, the manga is kind of different from the games, but it is kind of a sum-it-up situation. So, after I read the manga, I had already played the games as a kid, growing up with parents that were, a mom, my dad not so much, but a mom that was super into Kingdom Hearts, and basically hearing the theme song Simple and Clean and Sanctuary my whole childhood, I already knew most of, about the game. So, I had started playing it, and I played, the original ones and everything, and lucky for me, that same year, my first year of middle school, 7th grade, Kingdom Hearts 4 was launching. It was coming out. So then after I had replayed Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, I could not replay my favorite one, which was 358 and a half days, because I did not have a DS. But I did watch the, like, clipped version, the clips version that was available on the PlayStation 4. So many things. Like, I was hooked. And it was mainly about the Disney part. So then I had played Kingdom Hearts 3 after my mom was done, around when it came out, and I was like, oh my god, I need to rewatch all the Disney movies. And I did. So, like, that's where it all started. My Disney phase, my weird kid Disney phase started there. Then, let's fast forward to basically my second year of middle school. My second year of middle school, I got super into Inuyasha. I got kind of into Gacha Life a little bit. For a while, I was a huge Gacha Life hater because I was like, oh, well, I can draw. I'm an artist. I don't need Gacha Life. And I would judge people that use Gacha Life. I thought it was like such a baddie or something because I didn't use Gacha Life. And I was like, I'm an artist. I don't need that app. I can do it myself, unlike you people. So let's go around this time, this era. Gacha Life is popular. My Hero Academia is at its peak of popularity, alright? There's Visco Girls versus E-Girls going on, alright, guys? This is 2019 to 2020 era, alright? We are going there. Pre-COVID. This is pre-COVID, keep in mind, alright? So then, I got into Inuyasha. I start making cute fan art of Inuyasha and such, watching edits. And then I stumble upon an edit of a character named Jim Hawkins. I know, you might not know who he is. Jim Hawkins is a character from the movie Treasure Planet. What is Treasure Planet? It is a Disney film that I was utterly obsessed with when I was like 14 years old. I was 14, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was like 14. I was obsessed with Treasure Planet. I tell you that right now. Obsessed. So I got into Treasure Planet about when I was 14 years old. And I always, like, I knew the movie. I've seen the movie before, but I had rewatched it, and I had the hugest crush on Jim Hawkins. So then I discover that they make, like, crossover ship videos, and keep in mind, I wasn't conscious for, like, the Jack Frost and Elsa era that was going on that side of the internet. So this is basically my version of the Jack Frost x Elsa edits, okay? So I discovered Disney crossover edits in middle school. And that was probably the worst thing for me to discover as a kid. No, actually, I take that back. It was the best thing for me to discover. So I discovered that. So then my whole personality became Jim Hawkins x Melody from the second Little Mermaid movie. If you are not a Disney fanatic like me, Melody is Ariel's daughter. And I shipped them because they were closer in age. So I remember I got really upset because I had seen a lot of people shipping Ariel with Jim Hawkins. But, like, Jim Hawkins is, like, they're both minors in the film, in both their films. But Ariel is, like, way older in minor age versus Jim Hawkins. So that was weird to me. And I was like, that's kind of funky. So, like, I saw an edit of Melody and Jim Hawkins. And they are the same age. And I was like, oh my god, that's actually really cute. I like this. So I would draw fan art. I would put Jim Hawkins in a flower crown. I drew the cringiest stuff. I do not know where any of this art is anymore, but I would draw really, really cringy stuff. And now let's fast forward past middle school. And I had gotten super into Disney princesses. I don't know how I did, to be honest. I don't know where my Disney princess thing started. I cannot pinpoint it for you. But I think it's because I started looking more into Disney princesses, and the history behind different characters, rewatching all of the movies and such, and I got super into them. So when it comes to me and my Disney obsession, it pinpoints to mainly Disney princesses of where most of my hyperfixation lays. I know the most about, like, I know a lot about the company itself and how the company started. I know a lot about Walt Disney, and I know a lot about certain films, but not every film. Not every film I don't, but certain films I do. But when it comes to Disney princess films, I know almost everything about all of those films. I absolutely love the Disney princess line. I've been a huge fan of it. I cannot pinpoint when I started hyperfixating on it, to be honest. But I have been a huge fan. And I learned everything about them. I started collecting, like, Disney Princess anime figures and Bath & Body Works. If you guys know, I'm a huge perfume enthusiast. Had a collab with them, and of course, I had to contribute to that when it first launched. The new one, I wasn't too sure about. It was okay, because it did kind of come off a new one. But yeah. So, I've been a connoisseur. And where I don't consider myself a Disney adult is because I do not glaze Disney. I do not glaze them. Disney has had a lot of downsides recently with their company, with AI, unfortunately, about to take over the company. If you guys have seen recent news of them accepting it, and also the fact that, like, their movies just haven't been the best. And I am not a Disney glazer. The company itself is not a good company. They aren't. I love their films. I love their older films. When I say I love Disney, when I say I'm a huge Disney fan, I'm talking 1920s, 1930s Disney to, like, probably 2010s Disney. That's what I'm saying. The new stuff has been kind of okay. The recent movie Hoppers, I did really, really like. That brought back a lot of, like, old Disney memories, definitely. Their past couple films, not so much. That Moana 2 film was god-awful. Please do not waste your time with it. Their live-action movies, I do not mind. It depends. Their Aladdin film was actually not bad. The Little Mermaid movie, hot take, I really, really like The Little Mermaid. Cinderella live-action, obviously everyone just liked that one. It is actually very good. But I would prefer if they only stuck to animation, but obviously they're not going to, so I'm gonna, watch them, I guess. The Snow White movie was god-awful. I ended up sailing the 7 seas for that movie. Keep in mind, I typically go to the theaters to see a Disney movie every, the first night of its release. And that one I actually skipped on. I skipped on on Snow White. But yeah, like, I love the characters. I love the art style, and everything. And, like, I have Disney merch. I wear it. I love Disney World. I have been to Disney World. My whole childhood we would go to Disney World, until the, unfortunate pandemic happened. And my dad was like, yeah, Disney World's not fun anymore because they took away half the stuff that you could do, which was true. It was due to, like, the, like, quarantining stopped, but, like, it was still, like, everything was still under those, like, regulations. But yeah, so I have not been to Disney World in a long time. But I did love all the times that I did get to go. My whole family's a huge Disney family. My sister loves Stitch. Like, that's her big thing. She's a huge Stitch fan. And then my thing is the princesses. Who are my favorite princesses? If you're wondering, my favorites are the classic 3. When it comes to princesses, I know I'm not very cool. I don't know. Like, people will fight me on this, but, like, it's my take. I do like the damsel in distress princess. I love the classic princess. I love the singing to the birds and getting whisked away with your one true love and stuff like that. I love those type of stories. Hence why I do love Snow White, Cinderella, and Aurora. So if you do not know, those are the classic 3. And a random story to throw in before we do end this video is I got in an argument with a Tinder date about Disney princesses because he didn't know what made a Disney princess a Disney princess. If you don't know, get an info dump. Disney princesses aren't because they're a princess in a Disney movie. Disney princess is actually a franchise, so they have to meet certain requirements to be a part of the Disney princess line. Doesn't mean they are a princess, hence why Mulan is in there. And also Moana and a couple others. It just means that they have to meet a certain requirement. They have to be a heroine of their film. They have to be the main of their film, and so many other requirements to be a part of the Disney Princess line. And if they hadn't met those requirements, they were probably due to multiple reasons. But yeah, alright, that is all I have for today's video. So if you guys did like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you do like things like this, go ahead and subscribe. And I will chat at you guys later. Bye!